Hi. So I've talked before about approaching midlife and having many fears. And one of those fears is the fear of aging and the fear of the approach of imminent death. Because we come to terms with our own mortality and realize, hey, we're not going to be living forever. And with that realization, people have different reactions. We can either fight the process or we can accept it. Here in the Western culture, I tend to see that we tend to fight it because we're really focused on youth and outer appearance. And we see that even the anti-aging industry today is a billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, from face creams to cosmetic surgery. That's our culture. And to explore this topic of death and aging, I have here with me my friend and sister, Pat, and we will discuss it further. So welcome to the community, Pat.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, so I've known you quite a long time, and I know you travel around the world. And from your observations of the different culture, what is the main difference on how the United States or the Western culture view death as opposed to the rest of the world?
Absolutely. I think that in the United States and in the Western world, death is treated as something very tragic and something very sad. And people mourn for years for someone who's lost a loved one. But in many parts of the world, death is actually something celebrated. It is a happy event where the wakes could consist of karaoke singing and some games. So it is contrastly very different from the Western world.
Wow. Do you have any theories of why this is so different from us?
I believe I do have a theory, and that is most people in the United States are so obsessed with finding their purpose and living a full life that when they feel they have not reached their purpose or have not found their purpose, they fear aging because they know that time is ticking by, and they fear death. But I think if we are all open that our purpose is actually not defined solely by ourselves, but can be defined by also our environment and the people around us, we'll be happier. And knowing that our purpose may not necessarily be something that we're seeking, but may find us. And through that, if you're just open to that, we'll live a fuller life, as most of us are addressing that today.
Wow. Quite an insight. So knowing that, what is your own personal view on death itself?
I believe that there's three factors of what death is to me. Number one, death is something that is happy. It's an event that is joyful and not tragic. Number two, death is something to be respected and honored. It is not something to be frowned upon. And number three, death is a symbol of release and freedom. So all of which are very much of a positive, has positive connotation to that.
Wow. And how did you come to that? Is there anything that happened in your personal story that you basically concluded that or come to that realization?
Yes, absolutely. I have been blessed with seeing and meeting so many different people and have had absolutely wonderful conversations with. And of those folks are no longer with us. They have passed, two of which are actually family members. And I have learned through them that first, you live your life like a song, right? So when you start a song and you start hearing a song, you dance to it, you listen to the beat, the crescendos, the ups and the downs. Now you know from the very beginning of that song that it's gonna end, but you don't worry about that. You dance, you enjoy it. You look through the drums and the trials and the tribulations, the intensity of it. And it's going to end later on, and when it ends, it just ends. And to accept that, and I know a few people who are no longer with us have told me that, to accept that, it's a more peaceful way of exiting this world.
And that's amazing to realize because here in the society, we don't even think about it. We just think about getting stuff. just getting stuff and achieving that dream, that when finally you realize that, oh my gosh, there's an end, and then we tend to panic.
Right.
Wow. Is there any advice that you can give to people who have the fear of death?
Yes, I think that for those who are fearing death, first be confident. Be confident that you're placed in this world for a reason, and you're doing it. You're having you're performing your reason. You're performing your purpose, and don't be fearful. Be confident in yourself. Be confident that you're doing the right things, and go ahead and just live again, like the song analogy. Go ahead and continue on as happily as you can with your life. One of the things that I just talked about earlier is life is about a symbol of release. So another analogy that I would like to share with you is that it's just like attending a university or college. You go through it, there are some trials and tribulations, there's some happy and sad moments, but at the very end of it all, you graduate into something better. This is what death is to me, because you have become too wise and too mature to need your mortal body. You're too good to be with your mortal body.
Okay.
It's time for you to graduate to another level, whatever level that might be. So yeah, there's aging and all that, but you're graduating. You have to work to deserve the death, the peaceful death that you're about to go into.
Wow, that's an amazing perspective. Okay, so now let's shift a little bit with aging. I know we have talked a lot about death. What about the aging? This is a main concern of a lot of women in this society. Do you think the fear of aging and is closely interconnected with the fear of death?
I think there is some connection, and again, it has something to do with purpose. When a lot of people are thinking, well, they haven't accomplished their purpose yet, and aging shows that time is passing by and eventually they're going to die. But it really has a lot to do with confidence. The advice that I get is, I watched this movie, and I'm sure many of you are familiar about it, Adaptation, with Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep. Yeah. There was one sentence on there, and I don't even know which character said it, but they said, you are who you pretend to be. Try it. Try to pretend, when I'm having a bad day or I'm having a job interview or something, I sometimes think, I am going to pretend like I am Oprah Winfrey today. Or I'm going to think that I'm going to be Janet Yellen today. And when I continue to do that, I become it. I become confident. And it's amazing how that changes yourself and your perspective and your day. And there are people who I'm sure will disagree with that. But I tell you, if you're looking up at someone that's your idol, try to be them. Try to think like them for a day. And if you do that every day, you'd be amazed how much confidence you have. And all these aging fears will eventually go away.
Wow, and I see that in you all the time. I mean, I talk to you all the time, and you just don't fear it. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. I think that's all that I wanted to ask you today. Thank you so much for being here, and I really hope we can do this again.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye.